Yep, that's me. A happy little kid who has no idea what's going on, but very curious about anything I could get my hands on. And yeah, that's also me. Not much has changed as you can see. I'm just kind of old now. What happened between then and now is a story for another day. But one very important thing was about to happen that would shape me into who and what I am today. And it all started at the age of 2. One day, my dad brought home a laptop. I didn't really know what it was yet. All I knew was that I had to get my hands on it. Of course, as he set it on the desk, he told me not to touch it. And what did I do? I said, okay, dad. But really, I was just waiting for him to go to the kitchen or the bathroom so I could just start exploring. So when I got my chance 5 minutes later, I jumped up on the chair and started clicking everything. I had watched them a little, so I kinda understood what did what, and I was just looking around. And then I happened upon a folder called Games. I opened it, and I saw something called Space Pinball, and I just clicked it. It was the only thing in the folder. It was called Games. Suddenly, something popped up on the screen, and I just sat there trying to understand what I was looking at. Things just kept flashing on the screen, and it just looked so amazing. I was just pressing buttons and I didn't even know what I was doing, but it felt like I just discovered magic. So a few minutes later, my dad walks in and goes, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm playing games." He's confused a little bit and was like, "What are you doing what?" So I just show him the pinball game and he just like starts laughing. He asks how I found it, and I tell him I just clicked on a place called Games. And that was my first gaming moment ever. Just like a little bit of curiosity and a lot of random clicking. That's how I discovered gaming, long before I even knew what it really was. So, what am I doing now? I'm starting World of Warcraft, baby, let's go! And yeah, this is actually my first time playing as well, so we'll see how that goes. I have always wanted to play World of Warcraft as a child, but due to some factors that I had no control over, I was never able to play it. Luckily, things have changed since I was a kid, but so has World of Warcraft. What we have now is much different from what I had seen as a kid, what I wanted to play as a kid. I probably could just hop into the game right now and still enjoy what the game has to offer, and I'm sure it would still be amazing, but it wouldn't be what I had dreamed of playing. Fortunately, not all hope was lost, because I learned about Classic as I was contemplating on what I should do. Now that felt like exactly what I was looking for. I could play the game that enchanted me as a kid, as it was back then. Now all that's left was to let the game begin. Now, I have to assume that you already saw the title of the video. I'm playing on hardcore. And I know it doesn't exactly seem like the go to difficulty for a first time experience. So, why did I choose it? I can't give you a definite answer, but if I had to guess, it probably came from my love for Dark Souls. Even if you have never played it, you've probably heard that it's famous for being very hard. Now, I could talk endlessly about how much I love Dark Souls, but that's not what we're here for. And this has already been a very long intro, so let's get to the good part. Plus, who doesn't love seeing hours of work go down the drain because of the simplest, dumbest mistakes that could have been avoided with enough caution? This absolutely cannot be a foreshadowing, right?
Right?
With everything out of the way, it was finally time to create our character. There were plenty of options, but I already had my eyes set on Druid. I chose Druid because the idea of shapeshifting into animals was just too amazing to pass up. The only races that could be played as Druids were Night Elves and Taurens, and I went with Night Elves. They just looked cooler. So that's why I ended up as an alliance player. As soon as the game started, the only thought I had in my mind was to survive at all costs. And with that, I went over to accept my first quest. I just needed to kill a few boars and night sabers, which sounded easy enough. One down, many more to go. Things were going pretty uneventful. I was just using Wrath over and over until my mana ran out, and then continued to bonk them until they were no more. And so we get our first level up. This was a small step towards our journey, and I couldn't be more excited. Eventually, the quests led me to the big tree that I had seen. It had this spiral going around all the way to the top, and it looked absolutely beautiful. Climbing that spiral for the first time just felt different. I don't think it would be wrong to assume that anyone who has ever set foot on it for the first time felt the same way. Then we met the druid trainer and learned a new skill. It was a simple buff to our armor, but I would only learn the true value of these seemingly small buffs as time went on. Things were going very good until the moment I learned that I had to go into a cave. For the first time since I started, I felt true fear. So many things could go wrong, and I had a million scenarios playing out in my head. What if something spawns on top of me? What if I get caught? But I had to push on. I had to endure the fear. So I slowly made my way to the spider cave. When I arrived, it still took me some time to muster up the courage to go inside. And even then, I was moving slowly and carefully, trying not to do something stupid. As I went in further, I came across what would seem like a mini boss. I was like, nope, 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 and immediately turned back and booked it out of there. I was not going to take my chances. When I got back, I picked up another quest, and this time it was made clear that I needed to face that big spider. I needed to gather a webwood egg, but the only eggs I could gather were sitting right beside it. So I went right back in. As I was clearing a path to the eggs, I saw another group of people doing the same quest. If they could kill the big spider, I would be free to gather the egg and make my way out safely through the cave. And that's exactly what happened. By the time I made it to the opening, the spider was dead, and I was able to get the egg safely. But then I remembered there was a chest, and I really wanted to see what was inside it. I started clearing my way to the chest, opened it, and found some meat. I proceeded to get out of the cave with my prize in hand and went to complete the quest. But a feeling was brewing inside me, a feeling of dissatisfaction. Yes, I had completed the quest, but I didn't defeat the big spider myself. If I could not face my fears as early as now, what hope did I have later? I had to do it. I had to face the big spider. I prepared myself and went charging in, clearing the spiders left and right as I made my way. And there he was.
He's just standing there, menacingly!
But I was ready. I could do this. And as soon as my first spell landed, I knew I could do this. He was losing health very quickly, and Githias the Vile was no more. Feeling proud of what I had accomplished, I walked out. I conquered my first cave and lived to tell the tale. I felt a surge of excitement inside. I felt like I was ready to face anything this game could throw at me. With my last quest complete in Eldrassil, it was time to leave. So I climbed down the spiral one last time and headed out. New adventures waited for me beyond the horizon. I felt happy. All this time I had imagined of playing World of Warcraft, and it was everything I had imagined and more. Now I was headed to Dolanaar. While on the way, I started to see new animals like owls. But the coolest thing I saw was this gigantic tree guy patrolling the roads.
What is that thing? Holy. That's a big boy, and I see a lot of quests.
As I made my way into the building, I stopped to pick up any quest I could see. Then I found something interesting. There was a first aid trainer. I didn't exactly know what it was, but it sounded like I would need it, so I picked that up as well. At this point, I had been playing for almost 3 hours and my brain was getting a little mushy. And as a result of that,
Okay, bring him your head. No, bring you... no, bring you his head. No, that's not good. That would be good, right?
I continued to complete more quests and explore the area, and then it happened. Once again, I had to go into a cave. My mission was to slay and bring Melanus' head to Talankai. But this time, I was ready. I wasted no time in charging into the cave. Yet, I realized something as I was entering the cave. There was a dead sprite lying on the ground. That probably meant someone was inside the cave making their way to Melanus just like me. And after going further into the cave, I confirmed my theory. I saw her running away from a grell, jumping into the water, and I decided to help her. I saw that she was out of mana, so I started attacking. She thanked me as I killed the last grell around us. I bowed back to her in courtesy, and then we continued to clear our way in. She then sent me a party invite, and I promptly accepted it. I was finally socializing. Then we immediately found our target, Lord Melanus. We started attacking, and I focused on the sprite first. Then we slayed Melanus together. As she bent to pick up his head, something popped up over her head. It was like an automated message, so I asked her about it. She explained to me that it was an add on that helped tracking quests, and I was immediately interested. This could be a very useful tool for me since I was playing hardcore. We thanked each other for one final time, and I headed back to the inn and downloaded the add ons. With this new tool under my belt, I went out into the forest once again. I was breezing through the quests, I was unstoppable. But once again, I was reminded that overconfidence was a slow and insidious killer. As soon as I killed the last Gnarlpine, another one had spawned in its place, and I ran for my life in fear.
Oh, no, 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 no. Spawning, they're spawning, they're spawning.
Luckily, he didn't attack me immediately, and I was able to escape, but things could have gone very wrong. Very, very wrong. After that, I started to be a little bit more careful. I focused on single enemies first, clearing my way slowly and methodically. And finally, I was able to slay Ferocitas the Dream Eater. I plucked the necklace away from his body and started walking towards my next quest. On the way, an alert popped up saying that a rare was found. I didn't know what it was, but I clicked on it and saw that it was a panther. I quickly decided that I wanted to slay this rare beast, thinking that maybe I could get some cool items from it. Unfortunately, I got a belt that was a downgrade, but I didn't mind it because I had killed my first rare enemy. My journey was going so well, I was very proud of what I had accomplished so far. I was only able to use magic and the power of bonking to kill my enemies, but sooner or later, I knew I was going to unlock shapeshifting. I guessed that I would unlock it when I hit level 10, because when I checked the druid trainer, I saw an ability called Demoralizing Roar, which required bear form to use, and I could learn it when I reached level 10. I was getting closer and closer to my goal of turning into a big bear and gnawing my way through hordes of enemies. Maybe enjoy a little honey too, like bears love honey, right? And that's exactly why what happened next crushed my heart and soul on a deep level.
These stalkers are everywhere. Oh, one of them is... Oh no, two of them. Oh shit. Oh no. Oh no, is this how I die?
A single mistake, a momentary carelessness had cost me my life. I was laughing from shock, but deep down, a feeling of sadness enveloped me.
He died! Oh my god, I'm so stupid.
The journey of Blades the Druid had come to an abrupt end. I tried going back in to see what would happen, and the spirit healer told me that I was beyond any help.
Says my target is dead. And if I speak, I cannot help you, champion. Oh no.
The bitter feeling of defeat and acceptance washed over me. There was no coming back. But where a journey ends, starts another. And my journey through the world of Warcraft was just starting. If you made it all the way here, thank you. Really. This was more than just a story about a game, it was a story about me, my curiosity, and how it's still driving me after all these years. I had so much fun putting this together, and if you felt even a fraction of what I felt while making it, then it was all worth it for me. So thank you so much for watching, for listening, and for being here at the start of my journey. I'll see you in the next adventure.